After Shelob is wounded and retreats into her lair, a group of orcs stumbles onto the scene. They find webbing torn apart, evidence of a fight, and they can't believe what they're seeing. One of them says, no one has ever stuck a pin in Shelob before. They start piecing together what happened, and here's where it gets interesting. They assume it must have been an elf warrior, someone tall, armored, with an ancient blade. They never even consider that it could have been a hobbit. And that assumption, it's the entire point. Because what Sam does in that tunnel isn't just survive a monster. He does something no one in Middle-earth ever attempted. He attacks Shelob, wounds her, and forces her to retreat. Shelob was a primordial being, even older than Sauron. The moment Sam stands up and fights Shelob is as important as the moment the ring is destroyed.
Let him go, you filth. You will not touch him again. Come on and finish it.
The fight between Sam and Shelob is far more brutal in the book than what is revealed in the movie. Shelob's strength isn't just physical, it's also psychic. This power is often referred to as her evil will or malice. By the end of this video, you'll see that Shelob wasn't just a creature blocking the path, she was a security system for Mordor, and Sam short-circuited it. The quest only continues because the smallest person in the story does the impossible. To understand what Sam actually does, you first need to understand what Shelob is, and it's not just some random giant spider lurking in a cave. Cirith Ungol isn't just a dangerous mountain pass, it's a controlled choke point into Mordor, one of the few entrances that isn't crawling with armies or watchtowers, and Shelob is the reason it stays that way. Tolkien himself drops a chilling hint about this arrangement when he describes how Sauron views her. He writes,
"And as for Sauron, he knew where she lurked. It pleased him that she should dwell there hungry, but unabated in malice, a more sure watch upon that ancient path into his land than any other that his skill could have devised. And orcs, they were useful slaves, but he had them in plenty. If now and again Shelob caught them to stay her appetite, she was welcome. He could spare them. And sometimes, as a man may cast a dainty to his cat, he calls her, but she owns him not. Sauron would send her prisoners that he had no better uses for. He would have them driven to her hole, and report brought back to him of the play she made."
This proves that Shelob isn't loyal to Sauron. She's ancient, self-ruled, older than Mordor itself, but Sauron benefits from letting her stay. She's terror with a purpose. She doesn't need orders, she just needs to be hungry. And when Gollum leads Frodo and Sam toward that tunnel, he knows exactly what he's doing. He forces the choice on them.
Master must go inside the tunnel. It's the only way. Go in. Or go back.
There's dread in that moment because Frodo has no real option. And then, as they move deeper, Frodo touches the webbing and asks,
It's sticky. What is it?
Gollum's response is pure menace.
You will see. Oh yes. You will see.
Shelob is basically Mordor's living lock. Shelob isn't just Sauron's pet. She also has a strange relationship with the creature Gollum. Gollum doesn't stumble into this tunnel by accident. He's been here before. He knows Shelob. He's spoken to her. Tolkien reveals that years earlier, Gollum discovered her lair, and instead of fleeing like any sane creature would, he bowed to her. He worshipped her. The book tells us,
Already, years before, Gollum had beheld her, Smeagol who pried into all dark holes, and in past days he had bowed and worshipped her, and the darkness of her evil will walked through all the ways of his weariness beside him, cutting him off from light and from regret, and he had promised to bring her food.
Gollum understands her patterns, her hunger, and he uses it. The plan is cold and calculated. Lead Frodo and Sam into the tunnel, let Shelob paralyze them, and then search the bones later for the ring. And Tolkien adds an extra sting to show just how methodical Gollum's thinking is.
We'll see, he said often to himself when the evil mood was on him, as he walked the dangerous road from Imminmuil to Morgul Vale. We'll see. It may well be, oh yes, Yes, it may well be that when she throws away the bones and the empty garments, we shall find it. We shall get it, the precious, a reward for poor Smeargull, who brings nice food.
He's literally imagining waiting for Shelob to finish her meal and toss out what's left. When the trap finally springs and Shelob wraps Frodo in her webbing, Gollum doesn't panic. He celebrates. He croons over the capture like a dark nursery rhyme. And then, with predator confidence, he gloats.
Got away, did it, precious? Not this time!
Gollum isn't just tempted here, he's running a heist, and the moment the trap springs, it looks like the end of the quest, until the story hands the spotlight to the last person you expect. Frodo is down, wrapped in webbing, paralyzed. The quest, everything they've been through, appears to be over, and Sam is alone. Think about the scale here. Sam is a gardener from the Shire facing a primal ancient horror that has fed on elves, men, and anything else that wandered into her lair for thousands of years. Tolkien describes her origin this way.
How Shelob came there, flying from ruin, no tale tells. For out of the dark years, few tales have come. But still, she was there. Who was there before Sauron? And before the first stone of Barad-dûr, and she served none but herself, drinking the blood of elves and men, bloated and grown fat with endless brooding on her feasts, weaving webs of shadow, for all living things were her food, and her vomit darkness.
This proves Shelob isn't just dangerous, she's primordial. She predates Mordor itself. Shelob's power isn't only physical, it also has a psychological or spiritual dimension. Tolkien makes it clear that her presence affects minds and spirits as much as bodies. Shelob radiates a suffocating dread. Characters near her lair experience overwhelming fear, confusion, and panic, a crushing sense of hopelessness. And that's not all. Shelob's lair is also filled with an unnatural darkness that disorients and isolates victims, weakens their will to resist, makes escape feel impossible. This darkness functions almost like a mental fog, breaking its victim from within even before they face her. And Sam, he's 3.5 feet tall with a sword he barely knows how to use. But here's where something shifts. Sam remembers the Phial of Galadriel, the light she gave them in Lothlorien. She told them,
I give you the light of Erendil, our most beloved star. May it be a light for you in dark places.
and in this moment, the darkest place Sam has ever faced, he draws it out and cries the words Frodo once spoke. That eruption of defiance, a hobbit invoking the ancient light of the elves against a creature older than empires, is the turning point. Now we're at the heart of it. What Sam does next is so insane that the enemy literally can't process it. Sam doesn't run, he doesn't hide, he attacks. And this is where you need to understand the steps, because Sam doesn't just get lucky, he uses everything he has in the exact right order. The phial isn't just a pretty glow, it's a psychological weapon. Shelob isn't just scared of bright light. The Phial of Galadriel holds the light of Erendil's star, a reflection of the sacred light from the two trees of Valinor. And that matters because Shelob is the daughter of Vangoliant, the ancient darkness that devoured those trees. That light doesn't just blind her, it burns her very nature. In that moment, Shelob isn't facing a weapon. She's facing the one thing her kind has always feared and can never overcome. Shelob has lived in darkness for millennia. She's hunted in shadow, ambushed in webs, never faced anything that could push back against the suffocating black she controls. And suddenly, this tiny creature is holding starlight in her face. She recoils, not out of pain, out of shock. Sam has the sting, the blade that glows blue when orcs are near, forged in Gondolin in the First Age. And as Shelob hesitates, blinded by the light, Sam lunges. Tolkien describes it like this.
No onslaught more fierce was ever seen in the savage world of beasts, where some desperate small creature armed with little teeth alone will spring upon a tower of horn and hide that stands above its fallen mate. Disturbed as if out of some gloating dream by his small yell, she turned slowly the dreadful malice of her glance upon him. But almost before she was aware that a fury was upon her greater than any she had known in countless years, the shining sword bit upon her foot and shore away the claw.
That proves this isn't just survival instinct. Sam is enraged. He goes at her with everything he has, and Sting bites deep enough to wound her.
Let him go, you filth. You will not touch him again.
Shelob is actually hurt. For the first time in ages, she feels pain, and she retreats. She doesn't circle back for another attack. She doesn't wait in ambush. She flees into her lair to lick her wounds. Sam doesn't survive Shelob. He changes the rules. Shelob learns fear. And later, when Sam thinks Frodo is dead and cradles his body, the grief makes his bravery feel earned, not random. He cries,
Wake up. Don't leave me here alone. Don't go where I come from. Wake up.
And then Tolkien gives you the best proof that this was unheard of by showing how the Orcs interpret the evidence. After Sam takes the ring and leaves what he believes is Frodo's body behind, a patrol of Orcs arrives at the scene. They find the torn webbing, the evidence of a fight, and Frodo lying motionless on the ground. And their reaction tells you everything. First, they're shocked that anything happened at all. One of them says,
Looks like old Shelob's been having a bit of fun.
they're used to this. Shelob catches things, paralyzes them, and feeds. It's routine. But then they notice something's off. Shelob isn't feeding. She's wounded and hiding. Another Orc explains Shelob's usual process, and this is key.
She jabs him with her stinger, and he goes as limp as a boned fish. That's how she likes to feed. Fresh blood.
This proves that what Sam interrupted wasn't just an attack, it was Shelob's feeding ritual. She doesn't kill quickly, she paralyzes, then drains her prey slowly, and no one has ever stopped her mid-feast before. So the Orcs start trying to piece together what could have done this, and here's where their assumptions reveal everything. One of them says,
No one has ever stuck a pin in Shelob before, as you should know well enough. There's no grief in that. But think, there's someone loose hereabouts, as is more dangerous than any other damned rebel that ever walked since the bad old times, since the Great Siege. Something has slipped. And what is it then? Growled Shagrat. By all the signs, Captain Shagrat, I'd say there's a large warrior loose. Elf, most likely, with an elf sword anyway, and an axe as well, maybe. And he's loose in your bounds, too, and you've never spotted him.
an elf warrior, tall, armored, armed with ancient weapons. That's the only frame they have for someone who could wound Shelob. They don't even consider a hobbit. It's not in their vocabulary. Middle-earth is trained to recognize heroism only when it's tall, armored, and famous. Sam wins twice. He defeats Shelob, and he defeats the story's own expectations. Here's what really happened in that tunnel. Shelob was a living lock. She'd been guarding that pass for thousands of years, older than Sauron, older than Mordor itself, feeding on anything that tried to slip through. Sauron didn't command her, but he didn't need to. She was the perfect gate, self-sustaining, terrifying, and utterly reliable. Gollum had the key. He knew her patterns, spoke to her, worshipped her, and understood exactly how to use her hunger. His plan was surgical. Lead them in, let her paralyze them, search the remains for the ring. It should have worked. And then Sam, a gardener from the Shire, who'd never held a sword in anger before this quest, breaks the lock. With starlight and steel, he wounds an ancient evil that had never been challenged, forces her to retreat, and ensures the quest continues. But here's the final twist. The enemy can't even name him as the victor. The Orcs find the evidence, see what happened, and their minds go straight to Elf Warrior. They're so conditioned to expect heroism from the tall, the armored, the legendary, that they miss the truth standing 3.5 feet tall. Sam becomes Samwise the Brave in a way the world can't even recognize in the moment, and that's exactly what makes it legendary.